number is.
It's hopefully not 5. It isn't?
19.
19.
Even
Okay.
before he rolls 1 and it is 5.
So, you guys, through Sven's kind of guidance, you kind of slowly take the barricades down, and you kind of work your way around it, and you get a couple minutes into the cave, and you're kind of creeping along kind of slowly. You don't really notice anything, but I mean, it's about 20-30 minutes have passed just through getting everything out of the way and kind of making enough room for these carts. The horses are kind of starting to get a little bit uncomfortable because you're kind of guiding them through. Right now the cart's invisible. The horses are not.
I couldn't catch that with him. I thought I was trying to cover the whole thing.
You were covering the cart. So just while leading them through these barricades and kind of you can see some blood stains and you're seeing crushed bodies, and this is not a wholesome environment, and the horses are starting to get a little bit anxious.
I'm trying to soothe them as I
Animal
guide them.
handling.
Yeah. Ooh.
Boy.
Mamma mia.
8.
Here we go again.
You're doing your best, but it just seems like the smell of blood and just the.
Oh,
The Tumblr post.
can
No,
I
I just like Kappa.
Okay.
in regards to smell, can I use Druidcraft to give them the sensation of smelling things that they're more used to, like fresh grass?
Sure.
Okay. So just notice that they're still real nervous and stuff.
Okay.
So my reaction would be to try to soothe them as much as possible. So
Okay.
I'm just kind of
So you do that, and they seem to kind of take a minute, but they're still seeing blood and gore and death, and yeah.
Okay.
Not nice.
How fresh does everything look?
It's pretty frozen, but for where you're at, that's not really an indication of how it goes. You'd have to take a closer look to kind of get a feeling for how long this could be.
Okay. Mostly looking for fresh blood because that means it's still wandering around.
As far as you can tell, everything seems to be frozen,
Okay.
just from a cursory glance.
I'm in the cart watching over the 2 guys.
Okay.
Just,
Just
my
kinda
hidden.
why the fuck are we back here? Motherfucker, we should just run. What the fuck did we just get away? God damn it.
What was that?
Nothing.
Don't try anything stupid.
So I'm gonna say for the principle of this, everybody roll me stealth checks.
I have
Where is my
chain.
stealth?
I have plate armor.
Oh no.
Disadvantage?
Yep.
Yeah. Where did he?
Woo!
Oh,
just-
fuck.
Oh boy.
Oh,
24, bitches!
I got a 1.
9.
Oof.
Where
Me and my clumsy ass self.
is that 19?
Wait.
Taking your armor. You don't
Yeah.
add anything to a 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
1 is a 1.
I was thinking if I had to subtract anything for armor, I don't know.
Okay, so
Do I
what,
pay?
For
what numbers we got?
9.
if you've got
Okay.
chainmail, I think it is still
9.
a disadvantage, but you roll
24.
one anyway. So.
Okay.
You would be stealthy one though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're the closest thing to a rogue we have.
I'm in the cart. Cart's invisible.
Huh. So you guys, as you kind of turn a corner and you're kind of lifting up some of the barricades and moving them out of the way, and you just the cold's kind of getting to your hands, and you just ting 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 ting. You drop one of the barricades, and everybody just kind of turns and looks at you. Off in the distance, you start to hear ever so faintly, but
Was the sound coming from further in the cave?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds weak.
He's not relying him out enough. but I don't think he's healed enough to get to us through all of them at this point.
But we have to get through them.
But we have to get through. Dustin can also be a dragon. Yeah.
Oh. I was like, Sven's pretty solid human at this point. It's a little late.
If we're careful and we get the jump on him before he can get the jump on us.
There we go.
So now we're
Then
going
he's
to
already-
assassinate a nice giant.
Nice.
Well,
Oh fuck, I should probably leave. I'll wait till after current event happens and then I'll go.
Alright, so what are you guys doing? You're starting to hear breathing further in the cave.
We can either keep going or backtrack and go to the trails. Keep going.
so say keep going. This way.
Max, what's your opinion?
Get the jump on.
You think we can take this?
I think so. It's already weekend. It was fucked up.
It killed
Alright.
36 people.
Did we get a long rest?
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
bless
Yeah.
Okay.
your stuff.
Yay!
Right, if we think we can take this,
You can
we'll
bless.
leave the horses in the carriage right
I
where
can
we
too.
stand.
Oh hell yeah.
You're Trixie. Do something. Something.
I can turn into a bear.
Confuse it.
If we can leave the horses in the carriage here, where they stand.
We'll vote.
If we think we can take this, we go in there and we do it, and then we come back for this one and see.
The thing with leaving the cart behind would be leaving those two to watch it. We can't trust them. So someone would have to stay back with them to make sure nothing went away. You know what I'm
Sven,
saying?
how respectable are these fools?
You know, they're pretty cowardly, and also neither of them know how to drive a cart.
Okay. There's a
Do they know how to wield a blade?
They're soldiers.
they're soldiers, but that's about it.
Then we give them an option. We throw them out in the wilderness and let them survive in the ice, or they come with us and help us take this thing down. Two more hands can't hurt. If we're gonna try this, then we need to do it right.
They won't attack us because they know they'll die really quickly. They do, so.
It's true.
Yeah, we've already proved that.
Seems like a solid
Cloth,
plan,
could
I
you
guess.
help us with this?
What do you need me to do?
If we're trying to take down this thing, if we're trying to take it out before it gets the jump on us, you think a well-placed arrow will help?
Hey,
What do you think is the way to go? You're the guy. You're the one trying to get push us through this.
I thought we should take the game trail. If you guys... Wait, is there any reward on this shit?
Yes.
What's the reward?
You know, it's...
I slink over. There's a reward on it.
Oh boy. Now you got him.
Yeah.
You know there is 100 platinum reward out for this thing.
So the king placed 100 platinum bounty on the troll
No.
on proof of its death.
I know where my vote lies. What are we doing here?
Max's nipples, apparently. Just what?
Kill a kill lights coming out of
You see
him.
what I was talking about? Oh my.
How are the barricades set up? Are they like those poles, or they're like?
It's kind of like the star
No, just
kind
go
of
up there and kill it. That's 100.
They're just
platinum.
those big
kinda-
old.
yeah.
No. That's. I'm trying to see if we can use it to our advantage.
Yeah, I would like to kill it.
Yeah. I'm still up for killing it. I think we can take it. I
I
just.
thought we were on a fool's errand here, but if it's weak and there's a big reward on it, my opinions are drastically changed at this point. I think there is no other choice.
The moment there was money involved, he's just,
Look, I've been trying to make an honest living with you folks.
no, you're good.
If this is how I'm going to have to do it from now on, then this is how we're going to have to do it. We're going to take the opportunity to make money here.
Yeah. So
You
they're.
know how long it's been since I've stolen something?
I mean, the only people you could steal from would be
How many things
us.
have you stolen?
Oh,
Don't.
Nothing from you.
That's,
He's a
I'll
work
look
in
over. I'll look
progress.
over to
Yeah.
Sven for a second, and I say, "You know how long it's been since I've stolen, other than yesterday?"
are there any kind of levels in this cave? Because I
I'll
know.
say.
I mean, it's pretty like
Only
imagine
not much
like
opportunity,
a
but
ice cave that's like 5 people wide.
Yeah.
It's a pretty like it's kind of like buried through the mountain, and I mean, you kind of see the corners turn a little bit, but you can't really see anything
Yeah.
around the turn. All you just see is barricades. You've been kind of having to like push everything to the side to get these carts. And
But if we
About
weren't,
how
if
high
we
are the
weren't taking
ceilings?
the cart and we were just going,
then you could very easily pick your way through this.
How high are those
If
ceilings?
someone has parchment,
It's about
do they get
10
the
feet
block
tall
to
in
draw
this.
a map?
Okay, so this giant either can't be but so big, or you said
Giant.
10 feet?
Right in the where you're at right
Where
now.
we are right now.
He would
So
have
either
to
it's
crouch
not a
to
very big
push the-
giant, or he'd have to like
Or
Speed up
widens
down.
out.
hunker down to
very good point.
squeeze in where we are. Depending. How big is he?
10.
Have you seen him?
Oh, that's true. You fought.
He's a giant.
Giant.
How big is a giant?
How tall are you?
Never seen
Okay.
one.
Did he have to
Basically,
duck down? at
you're
all?
Like
here.
tree height, or
You're here. Giant is here.
Okay, so if
Huge.
like
That's not
it would
terrible.
almost be like a mouse.
Well, you're talking about, like,
a
from the
cat trying to
ground
get to a
up?
mouse.
No, from
His actual
Sven's
head
head height. This is giant.
So giant's like 15,
Like
20
Sven
feet
this tall, giant this tall.
They live up to their
Like
name.
this
that's
is the
for sure.
ground.
This is the
Yes.
ground. This is the top
I'm-
of Sven's head.
Five.
That's the top of the giant's head.
average height, like
Oh,
5'10".
that's
There. Okay.
so. There's no way he could fit through these.
It's like the cave widens.
Let's
farther
do
in.
this.
Okay.
It gets taller.
If anything happens,
So
make sure that you all have
Yeah.
reasonable place to run away. I'll use an illusion to make it look like I can block things off. We'll keep pushing back the way we came, or the opposite.
So just
direction.
roll a perception check for me.
And then
with
we'll-
advantage.
Then we'll make it.
Don't
Doesn't
need
matter.
it.
Natural
Just roll a 20.
All right. Far off in the distance, you hear.
Behind us. Okay, here's the plan. We gotta make a move, and we gotta make it now. I say we go in there, and if from everything I've heard and from everything I've seen from our group, we can take this thing down, end its life, and then if worst comes to worst, and we have to get out, we push out through the other side of the cave. We get out as quick as we possibly can. I'll jump in the back. I'll